Good evening to all of you. We would like to welcome from People's Code team to our Way of Thought talk show. Thank you for joining us. And today we'll be discussing topic of in the future new nation of Myanmar. That we will be discussing how can we take legal action against the soldiers of the SAC. We have invited Thein, Minister of Justice for National Unity Government, and Nyein, a youth revolutionary leader, and Captain Glock, who has joined the CDM movement, and will be joining the discussion to thank that all the we would like to request you to like and share our talk show so that more people will be aware of the topics that we are discussing. And also, if you have any questions or comments, you can also write in our Facebook page as well. If you want to join the discussion on the Zoom, then we do have a question and answer session reserved at the end of the talk show. So please, you can follow the Zoom link we have provided on the People's School Facebook page, and then join us here on the Zoom webinar, and then ask your questions in person. So I would like to firstly invite that Xiao Thein to start the discussion. Good evening, Sia. Good evening. So we have seen that SAC troops have been attacking civilians in Sakai region and Makwe region. We are also seeing cases where they are burning villages and then targeting civilians, and they are in clear violation of the Geneva Conventions, and both conflict parties must follow. So can you also discuss with us briefly about the Geneva Convention? When it's come to a war, that there are rules when it comes to war, and there are also the Geneva Conventions, which are as well as the Hague Law. There are two the international laws as well for the war as well, and that in 1949 there are 4 Geneva Conventions. That the main point about the Geneva Convention is that so for this to protect the civilians who are in the war, and then also the non-combatant soldiers. The non-combatants, those who are the former soldiers or who still are soldiers but who are unable to fight, who are not actively involved in the fighting, and that there will be that how to treat them, and that how do we treat them with humanity, and that's what is discussed in the Geneva Convention, the Geneva Conventions. That if you look at 1949 Geneva Conventions, there are 4 major conventions. It's always about the civilians as well as and that those are non-combatants, how to treat them, how to address with them, and that's what will be it will be the part about it as well. So that's what the Geneva Law discuss. Another is called the Hague Law, that when it comes to the fighters, during that there are also about the rules of the limitations as to that engagement. So if you put them together, that within 77, that with that all together, all these all have you announced as like rules to follow. When it comes to when it comes to war, there are 2 laws: the Geneva Conventions or the Hague Law or the rule of engagement. So these are the 2 laws. That the Geneva Conventions are the 4 treaties to protect the people who find themselves in the context of war. That for example, like civilians who are under the adversary for the prisoner of war, how to treat with them. So that's the Geneva Law, Geneva Conventions. So when we look at Geneva laws, there are 4 treaties, or we call them the Geneva Convention. First one is for the amelioration of the condition of the wounded and the sick in armed forces in the field. So These are their work include rules and regulations, how to protect the wounded and the sick, and what are the humane actions towards them. At the same time, the Second Geneva Convention is for the emulation of condition of wounded, sick, and shipwrecked members of armed forces at sea. So the difference is that if during the war, that for the at sea, so that we also did mention about how to have the treatments, how to engage with them, and then how to treat the wounded and the sick. So we had that in the field, and during the wartime in the field as on the ground, as well as at sea. The Third Geneva Convention is relative to the treatment of prisoners of war. So how to treat the prisoners of war, what are the human actions, and the last one is this one is about the protection of the civilians. That the Fourth Convention related to protection of civilian persons in time of war. So in the Hague Law, so talk about the rules of engagement on the battleground. So that these are mentioned in the Hague Law. The Hague Law is different from the full Geneva laws. The Hague Law is more about the strategy, tactics, and the rules and the conduct they have to follow. So how you can which they do mention like rules of engagement, how you can which who can be the military objects, and what are the tactics can be used as the principles of war. So that there are ways that different forces can fight, and when they fight, it is also important that the idea is to look at what are the tactics, what are the strategy, how they can wage war. That is in the Hague Law. So when it comes to war, then there are two international laws that we have to follow. The Hague Law says that the most important part of the Hague Law is that that it also said that yes, it is important that during the war there will be fighting, but that there are also rules of conduct for hostilities and establishing limitations as well. And the attack or the hostilities must be targeted military necessity, or so only when there is a military necessity that justifies the employment of violence to obtain the submission of the enemy or to reach that certain military objective. That is the key principle. Second principle is that during the war, it is also, there could be civilians in the ground. So it is also important to ensure that the assets and properties of the civilians will not be destroyed, in the sense that so civilian objects, and there must be clear distinguishing between the military objectives and civilian objectives. So it is important that there should be a clear distinction between as well. It's called the principle of distinction. The concept of distinction is important. It requires the commanders to distinguish from the civilians and the combatants, and the military objectives be distinguished also from the temporary objective as well. It is war is also about fighting to gain leverage over the other, but it is also important that when the fighting should have the clear sound reasoning on which to target as well. In that time, it's also important that to ensure that there is also proportionality. In other words, proportionality states the nature, duration, and scope of the engagement, and it must not succeed which is required to successfully counter the hostile act or to demonstrate the hostile intent. There are limitations to which you can attack, and when in the field you will see that you'll see the civilians, and not only the combatants, but also the assets and properties that belong to the civilian as well. And when it comes to the civilians, that it is also important to make sure that to minimize the damage and casualties, and not to cause problems or trouble to the civilian. That is also to avoiding innocent troubling is important. It is also important that the war that we need to be is so important that we are fighting for the right war. So these are the principles that comes from the Hague Law, and that when it comes to war, there are two international laws that we must comply with: Geneva Law, or the law Geneva Convention, and the Hague Law. That when it comes to war, there are three forms of war as well. We call the war between different countries. There are also war in a country between the state forces and the non-state forces. That there could also be that there can also be conflict as well. That also be part of also the war as well. And to the 1977 as that. In a territory, there could also be that the armed conflict in a territory when there are armed groups that are fighting can also be called that no international armed conflict only between armed groups as well. So that so Geneva Law and the Hague Law that apply with both all forms of armed conflict, that all either international armed conflict or non-international armed conflict between the armed actors all need to follow as well, so that all the armed actors in Myanmar, whether they are state forces or they are non-state forces, or it doesn't matter which side they are from, that if they are engaging in the armed conflict, then it is important that all combatants, all those who are that armed combatants, all those are by participating in the hostilities, they must comply with the Geneva Law and the Hague Law. And that's why that the SAC forces, and especially that they have the responsibility also to comply with this law. But when we look at it, SAC is not following the Geneva Law or the Hague Law. They are violating this international. They have the responsibility to comply with, but they are clearly violating Geneva Law and the Joe laws and the Hague Law. The main thing is that I think they have lost their objective. They have lost their morality, because military is to protect the people from the external threats, from the external danger. That's why the state armed forces are established. All the state forces, the armies from the state, all the state armed forces in various countries are to protect their country from external danger or external threat. That's how they do, and that in doing so, and in establishing such a state armed forces or the state armies, that it is important that they have the responsibility to protect that as well. They are committed. They make the oath to protect the country and the civilian from the external. However, that those soldiers who are in the SSC troops, and they have lost their orientation, they have lost their commitment, they have lost their principal objective as well. Instead of protecting the state and the people of the state, they are serving the terminal. They are serving the military. It is as if the military is a different organization to institution, and they are only there to protect the military. So that in other words, they are doing what they are doing, all the action which are against the good of the people, and that the divide between the people and the terminal is not the people who divide themselves, who put themselves away from the military. It's the military which has put itself the divide, and it is also a very sad. It is also tragic. It is also like a shocking to see the military committing the unprofessional as well as on the action. They have lost their orientation, they have lost their objective, they have lost the mindset and the morality at the soldier, a professional soldier, will need to have in order to serve, in order to provide that security service to this country. Thank you for the discussion, and that is also very comprehensive, and it also the meaning is also very clear. I think that and the people that who are listening to the discussion along with you, and that we understand that both that the armed conflict in the end conflict, that all the troops, all the forces will need to follow some rules and regulations, and that military is failing to comply with that. So that and I would like to invite our next speaker to do with another question. But before I go to the next speaker and to the answer that the Xiao who has given about the violation of the Geneva Conventions as well as the Hague Law, and that the military, the way that Tamil Sakasa forces has violated the rules. If you have any opinions or any feedback to the discussion, if you want any voice to add, then please feel free to use the chat box or the comments or that on the Facebook page and share your ideas as well. I would like to invite the next speakers. Next speaker is Nyein. Good evening. Good evening. We have just listened to the contribution of Sia Udeu that the military SAC troops have violated the national laws that they have to comply with. And Sia has explained what these laws are as well. That very recently, RFA news agency has shared about that the soldiers from the SAC troops were talking about killing civilians and the many villagers, and there was a news reporting from that. Well, can you also share what you think about that kind of that report, and how do you see those soldiers like on a killing spree and doing that as well? Well, people are saying that this new coverage is showing that how the military are as well, that Myanmar military has been committing systematic violence for many years, and this is not new. It is not the first time we have been able to show as well in the ICJ and then the universal jurisdiction, and we have ICJ. There are also other cases around the world has said that in the ICC also is investigating the crimes that the military has committed against the Rohingya. That is in 2019, ICC has opened an investigation as well. Also for the crimes that the military committed in Karen state, and they have been committing massacres as well as mass killings and crimes as well. In 2017, like now, they have killed the civilians in mass killing as well. There was a war crimes, and there were Wallo and Joshua. I'm sure you recall that two journalists have tried to investigate a case about mass killing, and they were trying to do the claim, and they were taken action, and they were treated as official secret, as they were treated as a national traitors to the national cause, and that they were doing this just to earn dollars, and there were a lot of accusations. A lot of people have fought and reacted strongly against those who are trying to seek truth in Myanmar. Myanmar has denied the truth, and Myanmar has not tried to, but the world was kept attention on it. And before the coup in 2021, what the people around the world know about Myanmar is that Myanmar military is cruel, is inhuman, is committing a lot of crimes, and that's how people know about it. That right now that it is not just now that they have made their story, because that it is happening before as well. That in the people of Myanmar also know about what is happening. Look at the 62, 88, and that all the 77, all this every time whenever there is an important political transition in Myanmar, we have always seen that the military and that is causing violence as well. That our people of Myanmar know about military or how cruel they can be. But it has been nearly a century they have been in power, and they have always distorted the story. They have with the bad policy, with the both ideologies and doctrines and bad institution, and the nationalist nationalism, patriarchy, and fascism, and that our society has fallen under that as well. And that it is important that whenever their fascist ideology, they would cover up and say that it's for national security, it's for the patriotism, and they will use other ideologies to hide that as well. They always have lied to the people, and say the other things, and they are also lying to their own soldier, their own troops, their own rank and file as well. And that's something we are also facing as well. in this it is that also is that happening as well. But right now people are no longer accepted. People are no longer no longer meaning, because the way they have crime is, if you look at it's the same pattern, it's the same institution who is committing such atrocities and crimes that after 2021, and that before the coup, and so it is also that it is also what is happening is that before the 2020 2021 the coup, that we will say it's not possible, it cannot be, and that but now we have seen the reality, how they can be they are psychotic killers by such videos or such accounts. I say that they are shocking as well. A lot of Myanmar population, a lot of population has denied such truth. They think it's not possible, and it's not just because of the layman knowledge, because of the culture, because of the tradition, because of the impunity, and because of the socialization, because of the propaganda, because of the those leadership who have always put the propaganda and brainwashed the people. Although the wall has been highlighting that, the wall has been showing that no, our government is already right, or what our government say must be true, and what you are saying are lies, and this because of the leaders and the elite who have never been dutiful to their people, and that's why this is happening. It is important now that opposition leaders need to understand that they need to go beyond the revolution, because that was the problem, because the leaders need to change their mindset, because they did not change their mindset. They did not want to go beyond that. So it is important, not just the military. It is important that the mindset change should come into the top as well. It is important. The best way is to be different from your adversary. Also, this Spring Revolution is the revolution is a people-led revolution. A lot of youth are involved in it as well, and then also to say, because what is all important, what we are also pushing for is a transitional justice. That it is important to ensure that transitional justice is there as well. It is important that soldiers, if they continue to commit their crimes, if they continue to act in such way, that they will, the more they commit their crime, they committed such crimes is because there is no transitional justice in Myanmar. So it is important that now this revolution is particular in the sense that we are talking loudly about the transitional justice as well. So they can no longer deny. Without justice at the foundation, then we cannot have a stable and a peaceful society. This policy, this incident, and we see how that the bad system and that the bad ideology, patriarchy, military dictatorship, all the fascism, all these. This also showing as a way for us to stop that as well. That it is a chance for us to be able to overcome the challenge as well. That it is important that this military is something. Is nothing. It's nothing but a gang of the criminals. They said they have no professionalism, no code of conduct, or no code of conduct, or the objective. So just to protect their own interests is the one thing. So it is important to be aware about the change for mindset that is calling for in this revolution as well. That in this revolution that before that we didn't have a transitional justice. So it is important for the future of Myanmar. It is important to have that transitional justice, that in the transitional justice that the troops from the military, either the security forces under the SAC, either police or the military. It is also important that when you discuss what kind of laws should we have to take action. So what kind of law, when we say, we can also look at the past examples, and so for example, in Germany, for the denazification process, where they removed the Nazi ideology and the Nazi from they will have 5 sectors and they work systematically. One is the main perpetrator. The perpetrators were given a life sentence or the execution. That was the sentence from them. And then we have for the Nazi activists and those who are profiteers, who take benefit of it, they were sentenced to 10 years of prison. And then the small crime, those who perpetrate small crimes, they were given 4 years or sentence. And then those who support support the Nazi movement, and that they will be under the list for surveillance. They are given a monetary fine as well, and then they are the innocent people that they don't have any punishment. So there were 5 actions that they taken. That was just an example from it. I'm not saying this must be done in Myanmar. This is an example. I don't think in Myanmar it will not be enough in Myanmar, like the way Germany and her country will denazification. But it is important to learn from the experience. And that one thing to think about is that what they have done is that after it was when the Nazi had lost the war, that when the Nazi lost the war, and that there were no more so there were no more military forces. All the Nazi forces were destroyed. Nazi party was also dissolved as well, and that they were also able to. It was the occupying allies who carry out this process in a number of ways. Like Nazi party was banned, and Brigade National ideas were so there was a lot of do that after that as well. Though it was even the occupying allies and but Nazification, they were not able to complete the Nazification as well, and that and also that then after that they also that they were able to change as well. I will continue talking about in the next part as well. In Myanmar, the fascist military, the leadership as well as on those chain of command and those who follow their order blindly, they are committing this is an institution that is committing the highest crimes, most grievous crimes possible. It's an institution that is destroying the society as a whole, that the humanity as a whole. So it is that only criminal justice is not enough as well. It is important to have the comprehensive the transgender justice as well as on the social justice is necessary. We need holistic justice to back them as well, because if you look at it, for the 2 decades, but that's 2 decades of transgender justice as well. It's not just about the number of the perpetrators, how many, like 100 people or 200 people, just sentencing them with punishment, imprisonment or sentencement. That's not enough. That's without the treat seeking, without redress, without compensation and the remedies, and they're just focusing on punishing that perpetrator. It's just political retaliation, and that's how that was why it's more of a like. So it is important to file charges, criminal charges against perpetrators. It is also important to go beyond that, because it is important to go for the holistic forms of transgender justice. That's what I like to share in the next part. But another thing is that when we say that for the implementation of the transgender justice, it is also important to have a political balance as well. That it depends on the political will of the leaders as well. That to have transitional justice, if the political leaders or the transitional government, they don't have political will, and they might think that endanger their whole of power, they tend to shut their eyes, close their eyes against justice as well. It's not just in Myanmar; it has happened before as well, and that so the transitional justice and that if not so in the countries like it is also related to the justice and the fairness harmony as well, because that has happened before, because they have the cultural impunity that there are no action, no way to be able to take their past action as well. So that there was the kind of impunity, it's an institution that has enjoyed the impunity for a long time. They are able to continue to do so. It is important. Justice means that it's not just about ethics, it's not just about the professionalism. It is also depends on the political commitment, political will, as well as a political check and balance as well. Because the military institution and how do we take action to add to that? How can we take legal action against them? As Thein who has mentioned before, there are international laws, and that there are international as well. But although they may not be comprehensive, they are already a basis as well. The most biggest challenge is that it's not that because the laws are not there, provisions are not there. It's not because of the enforcement is the issue, and that there is lack of enforcement as well. That where do we enforce them? When do we enforce them? How do we enforcement? Are the questions that we should ask. So it is important for Myanmar and also for the world as well. These are the issues that we are facing around the world as well. That if we look at it, conflict area, that justice may not be enough, but it can take long, and that it is important to be able to, they have been able to bring forth the perpetrators to the tribunal as well, to the court as well. They may have, abused their power. There has been past leaders who have been held accountable for the crimes that came, and they have been sentenced to life sentence, or they have been sentenced, given capital punishment as well. And that there are also those who, the chain of command who follow the orders blindly without this as well. If you look at in Germany, or if you look at the case in ICJ or ICC, that sometimes the military leaders, only their old age, and they are being held accountable for the past crime that they have committed. And we have to work, we have to try, we have to struggle to make sure that the transition justice in Myanmar will not take long as well, and that and to take action as well, that to action against the military tribunal. It is that domestic justice systems is important, but during the transition time, the problem is that or the beyond that conflict is that that local judiciary systems are enough, either because of the dictatorship or because of the local system, that sometimes our judicial system is not strong enough, not strong, or they're corrupted, or they are influenced by the power, by the dictator as well. So that in the past, under the dictators, that the justice system has never been able to do the right thing. So that if you look at the other countries, that like ICC or the Universal Judiciary Courts, or that using both international and local hybrid tribunal system will be useful as an institution to fight against as well. So that this way, that also what we can do as well. In the case of Myanmar, it could be ICC, or that it could be a hybrid court between Myanmar, and that could also be a way to address it as well. Thank you for a very comprehensive answer. Thank you very much indeed. So these are the discussion from the Nyein, member of the Geneva Revolutionary as well. So that and we would also like to request our participant, if you want to add anything to the discussion, and that if you feel that that when it comes to take action against them, against those perpetrators, also that if you have ideas, or if you have comments, or feel free to write in the comment box as well. You can also follow our Zoom link and join us on the Zoom Meet join webinar, and then ask your questions directly to our speakers. So that before I invite the next speaker, actually we intend to have three speakers that the Minister Udayu, Nyein, and Captain Glock. But Captain Glock is having a difficulty to internet connection. So we like to that instead of so Captain Glock, due to the internet difficulty issues, we would like to invite Gomindura, who also is a CDM soldier, to join us, and who are also working on the ground. Samindura, yes. Thank you. Good evening. And that I was listening to what Sia Udeng share, and it really is a great, that a lot of learning as well. I was listening also to Sia Nyein, and that also a lot of what you have shared is also very close to what we are here. So Sia Nyein, thank you also for sharing as well. Like judiciary in Myanmar is, in my personal point of view, there has been a lot of corruption in Myanmar. That there has been a lot of corruption. There had never have been any laws as well, and also it seems like although there may be laws, it seems as if there is a lot more people who are above the law as well, and and now we talk about it, the law is how can we take what kind of law, what kind of legal action can we take against the soldiers? Okay, so here I would like to say something. This is I'm come from the soldier side. You talk about this like you talk about the denazification process, and if you are not those who committed the crime, then they will not be punished, or they will be just set fines as well. But when you are inside the military, and that I'm talking about what people feel in the battalions and command, they say the coup is nothing to do with it. It's the leadership. They decide to do. We don't do anything. So we should not be held accountable. If we do this, and then he will be the one taking. And that's something that we are seeing as well. And then just stay. Just do your job. You don't have to do anything. And that So if you they will say that like people always say that like you also have that if you don't do anything you won't lose anything, and that's always something. Don't do anything, don't do anything, it will happen to you and you can go free, you can stay free. And that's the expression, that's kind of the ideology that has mindset that has been brainwashed into. And then the soldiers were told by their commanders at the regiment level, well, it's the military, it's the generals who do that. If you don't do anything, you won't be held accountable for that as well. But in the military also they create as well, they create sort of like leadership. So in the military, for example, like in the regiment, the commander of the regiment is like the god for that. You have to follow whatever, you have to follow what they say. They always brainwash you. You don't say anything, you don't say anything back, even if you do that, you will say, for example, like that you may well know about it as well. If you say that if you say that you have anything report, and that's the question, is that you don't report anything, they don't want it. If you report it, then you are a spoiler, you are a problem maker, you are a troublemaker, and then there will be better at you. Because if you think your commander did something wrong, they may take something wrong, but you don't speak up, you don't say about it, you don't complain, and that's how they want anything to report. You don't, it means that you don't shut up, you don't report anything. So that's how the military is. It's not just the military. I think it's the same for that for most of the people in Myanmar as well, and that so they never distinguish between the duty and personal. So everything is that so what is happening is that and Siama, you share about it as well, and I was listening to you as well, that they already have that kind of, they say that don't just that there is a coup happening, don't do anything and don't say anything. And that's how it is. Like what they are saying is that okay, let's look at the situation, that that let's look at the situation, how it goes. Well, nothing will happen, just stay there, things will sort of like come down afterward, things will turn to normal. We don't do anything, it's okay, we just stay the status, so it just make the status quo, nothing will happen. You don't do anything, it's not it won't be your problem. So that's how they have it. That's why they say that it's you don't do anything. That's why a lot of people don't do. A lot of people don't like it. That if you ask them like, do you like it? No, they don't. Because they are the problem is they are stuck as well, and they cannot go beyond as well. That what is also happening is that they don't get access to information, they don't get to use it, and also they don't know more about what is happening as well. So they don't have access to information as well, and that it is like like those who are in the dark, and you are just standing into the light, and your eyes are blurred, you cannot see anything, and that that is that what we have in the military. You also have a lot of people who are like criminals or the drug addicts, on that all the problems. So they are not the good people, that you are a drug addict or that you are committing crime. So they don't, so they are being brainwashed. They use the propaganda as a tool, so that it also is it's also make it very difficult, and that means they can also run and they can also do as well. So thank you for sharing, and that we did ask about it as well, and the Midura also was that is a soldier who had joined from it as well, and that what about the video file that is on their Facebook? That is most people are saying that it shows them a clear example of what is happening. On that you are a soldier. So when you see those soldiers, the SAC troops, that the way they are, they talk about the killing and the violence they committed, and they are proudly sharing about how many people they have killed. How do you feel that? Well, that they are proud of killing, that they are proud that they are being able to kill other people, and that they are commanders. I would say, like like a commander, it could be the commander must praise them, but yeah, you're good and you are being able to kill, and that seems very clearly they are being praiseful. That they do, although that like you're saying, that the idea that they don't have, it is important because these are the people who cannot change their mindset. They cannot put the right way of thinking. They cannot see the truth. They think that what they are doing is right, and they think that and that another thing is that so they also, what they also do is that they always do that they are brainwash you to hate NLD, hate Aung San Suu Kyi, hate NLD, or they hate the red because NLD color is red as well, and that even if even if you support the USDP, and that you must hate it as well. If you support it as well, like if you support NLD, then it's like I say, just like the buffalo or the red they were like the Bulu where harm anyone who shows a red flag. It's sort of like that. Like every NLD must to be that they were considered as like that as well. So if you can kill NLD, and for them is getting rid of the adversary, they don't care if that is as well. They don't care if they're civilian as well. The problem also is the drug abuse, and I'm sure Yemi will know about it. That is, if you go there, if you have 100 soldiers in a regiment, if you say if you find a person who doesn't drink, you cannot find it as well. And then there are also those who drink some, but there are also those who drink a lot as well. So when you drink alcohol, that you are like the problem is they have less inhibition. They cannot make critical thinking. They think what they are doing is right. They think killing somebody is something they have to be proud of, and the problem also is the leadership. They train them to be like that also. That is also happening. Another point I would like to make is that when you meet them on the ground, and that a lot of soldiers has been brainwashed, and they think they are proud. They are being proud of what they are as well, and that they don't know also about what will happen to them as well, and they don't know about the consequences as well, because they think that they will also never be there will be consequences. The idea is they have no way of thinking as well, and that's why they are very proud of the past events as well. I think Nyein also share about that as well, and that those who committed the crimes and those who ordered them the ground commanders, and and the ground commanders as well as that Samithura also say who do you think is more responsible? Who is responsible? The commanders are responsible. In a military command, who is responsible? Is the commander is the responsible person? The soldiers have less responsibility than that of the commander, because when we look at all this crime, who is responsible? And that is also is that the often that the problems happen is often those who committed the crimes will be taken action against them, and that there are also there are also those who turn a blind eye as well. The blind eye is a current issue, and that in Myanmar is turning a blind eye is nothing new. It's just like a lot of people will say that in the end, it is that those ground soldiers will be charged to us, and then those who are top leaders that you will change the target, and then they will also be who is responsible, and that all these cases, I think the military leaders are responsible as well, and they cannot say that they are not responsible. They are the one who are ordering them as well, and that so I think that's the truth. But however, given the current situation, that is how do we say that? How do they would always say always the laws are making sure that the law has been triggered to such a way so that they cannot be action now taken, because there is also that I'm also to say that as well, because there has been a lot of corruption as well, that we don't trust in the law anymore, because we have gone through the law. We are also seeing what is happening, so we no longer trust the law. That's also is a part of the part as well. So that Samithura has also talked about how legal action should be taken as well, and the Samithura also has also the SSCDM soldier also talk about this, that during this and also what do you think what kind of punishment should be given to those as well? I think the law will have its punishment as well. I think it depends on the law, so those they will have to make the correct judges, and that is well that to ensure that the law is very fair as well, and that they should not, if there are people who are above the law, then what we are hoping for is a nation, a new nation, and that where they have if the law is not enough, then if they will be the same thing as well, that so it is important. We need the laws need to be fair, and that there should be no one above the law. That is important as well, that if we cannot do that, then it will be like it will be turning a blind eye. It will be also be impunity that is as well, and just doing what they can. So that also is a possibility as well. So in the new nation So we need, it is important that we follow that as well. The inner country, the law is important, so the law, that no man must be above the law as well. And like I has said before, that like you say before, like I think that what kind of punishment could be given. I think it is important also that legal experts to be able to do the law as it should. I think it will be great as well. Thank you, Simultaneous. Thank you for a very comprehensive answer. So these are a CDM soldier, the senior soldier who is also working on the ground, Simultaneous has also have shared as well. So if you're listening to our talk show, you can also share your comments on the chat and provide your answers. I would like to give another round to Xia Udeng. Xia.
Hello, Xia.
Yes. Yes, we can hear you. So that you also have listened to that as well as on the Siamedura also share about their ideas and when it comes to the prosecution of the soldiers under the SAC, and that the fact that during the revolution the military has been targeting specifically civilian objectives and civilian target destroying and also civilian objectives as well. So the question is that after the revolution, all those perpetrators, what a new government should prepare to take legal action against the perpetrators? What kind of punishment will be given? On this topic, that is about the punishment. In this, I think it is important to think about that there are two parts. One first about the politics. Second part is about the military action, so political action as well as on the military action. There are two parts to it. So I think if we look at it from two parts, if you look at it politically, that the political part, that Myanmar and the terrorist hunter on since the 1st of February, they have attempted the coup, and it wasn't a coup that was not successful, because until now that when it comes to the coup, the attempted coup is not successful because there are still ongoing a lot of fighting on the other ground as well, and that means that he had committed that is a high treason. So the SAC, the hunter, both civilian and the military, have all committing the high treason. They are committing the highest crimes of their death result. So they will be held accountable for that as well, and that they will be sentenced with they will be given that due sentences. So like this is a political consideration that who will be taken action as well. That it is that the other ones who have committed the crime as well. That's why that second is about the military action. For the military actions, that it is that when they commit the state treason by attempting the coup, either they follow the orders from their leadership, or because, like I said before, that you were discussed as well, maybe they don't have a political thinking and that they just follow the orders blindly. If they do that, and then like we have said before, I think it is so there are different laws, and there are also the laws they must follow as well, and the international law. So there are also domestic laws as well, and that there are also 1958 military law as as military security law. These laws are still in power as well, and those who committed the crimes, and then they will have will be looking at where they have committed the crime as well. I think it was also discussed in that going into 5 session about it, so the way the Nazis have the identification process then. So there are 5 aspects to it. So it is also important to look at. So we need to look at what extent they have committed the crimes, the perpetrators. That so when we think about criminal justice, so we need to look at to what extent they have violated the law. That based on that, they should be given the appropriate punishment for the crimes that committed, and that's the part of the criminal justice system. So those who committed the crime, that to what extent they commit the crime, as well as that's why we also need to give due action according to the crime that they have committed as well. That military the military has attempted the coup which is not legal or constitutional, and then the various level are also so they are also committing the further crimes as well. I think it is also important that they are giving orders which are very much against the law, and that the soldiers are following the orders blindly. They will say that they were against that. Well, we are just following orders. That is the commanders who are responsible. We are just following the order because we been ordered to do so. But if they follow the orders and these orders are like violating the crime, then they would be held accountable for that. What as well what the crimes they committed can grievous crimes. One is those who commit the war crimes. Another is that they commit international crimes as well. Another is what we call the grievous human rights violations. These the form. So if we look at all these, these crimes are the high crimes, grievous crimes that merit that capital punishment. That to be able to take action against them, it is important to form that after the revolution, and that we cannot go and do it is important to have fair trial. We need to set up tribunals to be able to take action as well, and then it is also to be able to sentence them properly. It is important to establish codes as well. That is these also code also have the mandate to be able to adjudicate such cases as well, and that it is also, we can also see that there can also be international code that when you talk about when you look at the international code, there are also 3%. There is like an international criminal code, like we have international criminal code, and that the international criminal code has the jurisdiction for the universal jurisdiction, that it can be that anyone who committed anywhere around the world, they can be held. That the code has the power to do just as well, and that it doesn't matter how powerful they are or how important the position are. If they commit their crimes, then according to the ICC can hold them accountable. The ICC have the mandate as well. So so in Myanmar, one of the cases is the genocide or the genocide, and that when we say genocide, is because that the crimes have been committed systematically. That is, so it is also happening across. If you look at Instagram, if you look at Magui, or if you look at the station regions, or if you look at Kayao Kenyan, it is happening as well. And see, Alexia Mithra has said before that because they are saying that everyone who is NLD, who support the NLD or who is NLD, and they have been brainwashed to kill anyone who is NLD. That means that they must follow all the orders of the military blindly, and that if they order them to kill, then there is Duani, that they means that they have to kill anyone they will order. That's why we are seeing the soldiers of the SAC is committing cruel crimes, atrocities, and they are following order blindly. It's happening not just at the areas in North Democratic region, it is happening all over the country, and they are committing these crimes systematically. And then if they are committing systematically, then they have an intent to destroy it, and to destroy the community that's established that genocide. So they can be held accountable in the ICC as well. Another crime they are committing in the crimes against humanity. These are that destroying the villages, and using people as a human shield, destroying the food and that food items, the livelihood of the community. All these are happening, and these we call them that these are the crimes against humanity, and these crimes need to be punished. These cases can be filed, and that as well, and we can also file them as well as international court, and there are also like war crimes as we have the Hague Law, Geneva Law. There are rules of engagement that you must follow when it is and during the war. But the Myanmar line and the military junta has been violating such rule. They have been violating their such rule as well, that whenever they meet prisoners of war, they're killing that adversary as well. They are committing war crimes as well, and that for the war crimes that they're committed, I think it is also important that for the NUG that we are collecting data to be able to take action against them as well. And even during the revolution, we are working with the international organizations that working on to be able to take action as well, and that we don't have to wait until after the revolution. These are the actions we need to take against them as well. Another is about the tribunals, and that in tribunals that we can also establish that we are also working to establish also like special tribunals in other Asia. In America we are also working to establish a special tribunal as well. We are also that so you also hear about setting up cases also as well. So that means that other countries that around the world are not just sitting with looking at what is happening. They are also working to be engage with us as well to be able to take action against the war crime as well. So we are also establishing we also try to establish the judicial system inside Myanmar as well. Right now, in 15 townships, we have established township level magistrates or township level courts to be able to start the judicial proceeding as well. In liberated areas with the territorial control, we can also establish the special courts to be able to address the crimes as well. That is to be able to when we can arrest the perpetrators, they could be tried and they would be sentenced accordingly to the crimes committed event during the revolution. These are some of the preparations and some of the efforts that NUG is working on to be able to take action against those perpetrators of the war crime. Thank you, Sia, and thank you for thank you for the detailed explanation as well. So that now I have that. Before I go to the next next question, I would like to invite Nyein for another round. Thein, who also have shared about it as well, and so that about the action that is being taken as well, to take action against as well. What I would like to discuss is that there are also soldiers and soldiers and officers who have joined the CDM movement as well. There are also those who remain inside the SAC troops and those who are continue to commit the crime as well. So when we build the federal union and also which group can they contribute, the CDM soldiers and those who remain with the SAC, and also in the future federal army as well, how do we make sure that what kind of rules and regulation is important to ensure that we don't have the same problem as well. So I will try to put two questions. I talk about the entry also that even the commander that they are waiting for the situation. They say that if we don't do anything and we can remain as it is, and they remain inside the military. That's how they believe it as well. Your question is that those soldiers and that officers who joined as well, and those who are you're also asking about the role of those who are not in the military. Either you are, I think we need to clarify whether who is considered part of the violence as well. Even that those who are committed the crimes from I think there is a punishment, even if you don't commit the crime. If you don't commit the crime, then you won't be able to. But however, even if that it is important to establish that if you are inside there, you have to make sure that you are not part of this one. They also need to leave the military and join the people. If you remain inside military and say, "Oh, we are not responsible," no, and then how will they prove themselves that they are not part of their crimes as well? Then if you to make sure that you are not part of the crimes that they have to join the CDF movement, because Myanmar military is for many decades, for nearly a century, they are very narrow-minded, they are corrupted. It's an institution that is very narrow-minded as well. And they will talk about it. They act as if they are the state within the state. So if you look at it, I think it is that if you look at I think it also is the way if you look at the evolution of the military and so what they will do is they relax some of the rules, and then if you look at the past 10 years, they don't really transition to a democracy. They open a democratic government because they change it because for their own interests as well, and they don't really want to change it, and that's why the change have been renewing, and that they can turn back to militarism at any time in doing. And so if you look at their policies and doctrines and ideology, is that nationalism, patriarchy, fascism, and that they have always brainwashed and used propaganda, and that's the institution, the military. So I think that this propaganda, this idea will be brainwashed inside as well. If you stay inside, we don't do anything. So if you want to prove that you are not committing the crimes of the military, then you leave and you join the CDM. That's how you prove it as well. And you also need to change the way of thinking as well. And there are also I think about the role of the officers and those who the CDM, even before we become given the mandate. In terms of mindset, it is also important to do the rehabilitation, like a psycho test. There should be, and I think it is important to do that before they are given the duties at her. And I would like to reiterate that in time when it comes to punishment, that there is not just a Myanmar issue. It's no longer enough with the criminal justice. We need a holistic, comprehensive social justice and transitional justice, because criminal justice alone is enough. When we build a new federal nation, when we try to establish that transitional justice system, it is important to establish the truth, the justice. There is also redress and compensation, and to ensuring the non-reoccurrence. I think this also need to happen, because those who commit the crime should need to even take action as well. You need to have a criminal prosecution need to be done, and it is also important to be able to have there should be truth commission to do what is happening as well. It is also important that states also need to sponsor to provide compensation also for those who are committed the crime as well, and that for the military, the state institution like police and the military, and that from the corrupted institutions, there to be like a security sector reform to ensure that they have a reputation. Here, I would like to mention that in Myanmar society, the military, the fascist army should not be there. They don't protect the people. So in our city, is that this military does not help us as well. They made some of the forces. They are saying that we're not committing any crimes. Then no, we cannot trust that. So it is important to establish a new security system as well. Then there should be focus on the human security. That is the national security. During the transitional justice, it is also important to have memorials so that the past will not be forgotten. So for the victims and the survivors, make sure that the memories will not be forgotten from the collective memory. The abuse and the violations and the violence they committed, about the lack of the professionalism and the conduct. There should also be the memorials as well as on the museum, so that is to stop from the recurrence. They are like the bankers, to stopping from such crimes from happening again and again. So in the first, like I've responded to the first question, if you look at it, 62, 74, 88, 2007, and then 2021. If you look at it, that always the military is an institution who has been conducting one coup after another, and they have that they are really a different generation suffer under the military. So 2017 and 2019, and that like that we are also seeing that that there are also that there were also the mistake of the civilians standing by the military, and people have made their mistake and deny what they have done before. So it is important to have criminal prosecution. It is also important to have truth and reconciliation committee to provide to redress the past as well, like memorials are important that will make the holistic transitional justice system. Those who do not commit their crimes, and that which rule that those who not commit the crime, and it is not a decision made by one person, but it should be the decision made by the society as a whole. It is not just the leader. I think it is will be inclusive decision making. The people also will be able to make a decision. Sorry. Second question is about it that so how do which laws to make sure that future federal armies will not abuse or make threat to people. So it is important to ensure that that the federal army will serve the people and the state, and that they have to make sure that they are not, we don't want any pocket army. We don't want the army that serve the interests of the elite, and that will be the base of the policy. That any soldier should not follow what they were, and the soldier will have the critical thinking, and that will not protect an individual or institution, and that there should be principles such, and that only then that that they will no longer blindly follow. That they will not be trained killers. They will not be trained killing machines. That's how we can stop the military from becoming blind killing machines. Like a CDM soldier, I say that yes, the leaders are the important. We just follow the order, so we are not responsible. No, that is not enough. That is not enough, and because all of us are responsible for the actions that we have taken. That's how we need to be. Soldiers, what we need to understand. When you serve that as well, it's not that you have there should be a critical thinking, and you should be able to have the wisdom to see what will happen, to be able to see the implication as a consequence. Then the soldiers will not follow, will be more than the creatures that follow blindly there. And it must say you will have a critical thinking, and you also understand about the duties that you have to serve. That's the ability they need to have as well, and they can. So there should be clear laws and principles, clear laws and provisions as well. There should be new standards to measure the reputation and the dignity of the soldier as well, like a human dignity, human security, equality, fairness, democracy, and that soldier that protect the people and the right. And then there's a soldier that has won a mission. I said, this is not a soldier that is thirsting for blood or thirsting for better. It is not, using the battleground as a way to attack a practice, and that we don't want the kind of fascist soldier. Then we need soldiers which is orientations for peace, and who follows the human dignity, about the independence and the freedom of the people, and to also who respect the human rights. That's what we want. Accountable as well. It's not about how many fighters, how many battles I fought, how many people killed, and that's not a profession that you measure as well. And that that battleground it's not just to gain practical experience, and we need to change their mindset and their way of thinking as well. And that it is from the top to the bottom, that all the members of the military force should also be that there should be also proper check and balance system as well. And we need to think a lot about the future. It will be hard, if possible, that if some of them could not be. If you think that some of them could be given mandates for the leader building, then there should be psychological tests should be done also, and the ideology bias should be checked as well. That they should also be in the civic education as well, in that and also in that when you give the military training, and not just for the military warfare, but also learn about the federalism of the democracy, international rules and regulation, and international law. They should be taught as well. That in the new federal army, that when the new federal army, they should have a strong, legal foundation, as well as on the there should also be systematic that all these should be built on it as well, and that building of the new federal army, as well as on the transitional justice, is very much linked with the new constitution as well. The most important is that given the Myanmar background, and that Myanmar has many organizations. So I think federal security forces, how they will be established, is something that co-founders and stakeholders will need to discuss and then agree upon to do that as well. So there'll be a lot as well. I think time is limited, so that's how I would like to answer to your question. Thank you, Siama, for a very comprehensive answer. And that and those who are also for all those who are joining us, and also that for the federal nation, and when we build the new federal army, what kind of federal army that you are expecting, you hoping to achieve, what kind of federal army do you want to see, and if we also like to welcome you write your comments also as well. That after the talk show, we do have a question answer session as well. So we hope that you can feel free to join us on the Zoom and also share your ideas. Just you are also give your comment as well. I would like to invite Sia Udayu once again. Sia.
Hello,
Sia Udayu, can you hear us? Sia is muted. Sia muted. Okay, yes, I can hear you, Sia. So Nyein also had shared as well, and that in the future federal army, and that to know what should be. She also shared about her opinion of what kind of federal army we should have as well. And during this after the revolution as well, Myanmar will change to the federalism. So political policies and principles will change. So when we form a new military, what will be the rules? What kind of rules and regulation they form with the federal army? And what about the CDM soldiers, and as well as all the current those who are current servicemen of rank and file, how they should be distinguished as well like when we say, rather than I think we can say the federal army will be better because right now that rather than say federal terminal, we can say we're going to build a federal saying it is building a federal nation is a very strong decision as well. The revolution is also clearly decided. The principle is there, the commitment is there to build a federal nation. So that for the new, instead of saying that the army of the new Myanmar nation, it will be the federal army, because the federal system that we are going on. First, the point about when you say federal army, that I think it is also that the current army, that the way since there is establishment until now, that they have they have never served under the federal system. So that's why also that it is important. That's why that in a country of Myanmar where you have a diverse ethnicity, and we are seeing that ethnocentrism, and the military also is playing this kind of. That's why it was built under that policy as well. So that and because military was established under this ethnocentrism, and that it also became a very nationalistic as well. And this nationalism that is quite strong in the military, and that is it's quite deeply rooted as well. That's something. So that's why they say the patriotic army. But when they say patriotic, is that the way what is the patriotism? I think it is also important to redefine as what is meant by patriotism as well. The patriotism itself is not about just one ethnic group. The patriotism means that loving all the ethnic communities inside Myanmar, all the ethnic people, and that's the military need to be. So that we need to change the mindset. So I think first change we want to do is changing the mindset as well. In doing so, that when we say federal army, that so if you want to change to know that's why it is also important to make the decision that we shall establish a federal army, and that's the direction of the revolution as well. When we say federal army in the federal system, that the role of the military is to protect the country from the outside danger, and that's the military responsibility, what they have to do. So that they are to protect danger, outside the external danger, so external threat. That's how that's the role of the federal army. That's the duty of the federal army. That's how they need to defend the country from outside dangers. That's their responsibility. So that in the military, that if you look at military songs, and we can also see that the way the ideology is different. Like is that so that to protect from the internal and external. No, there are no dangers as well. That we are all brothers even if from the same family, your own brother and sisters, that you will fight, but then you will also get along. So internal is not a threat. threat for that military. That is something that have different political ideologies are part of it as well, and that the ideology and the problem, they are not, they cannot be considered as enemy, and then the military will consider as an enemy, and then as the enemy of the terminal. So that's why we have 70 years of civil war have been going on in Myanmar. So we need to end that. To be able to end that, what we need to is that it is important that Myanmar will need to establish that federal army. Only then we will have like a peaceful and a dignified release. So we need to establish a federal army. Federal army is that to be able to to be able to form as well. That another thing is that it is important that they have the weapons. They have the weapons to protect their country. So they have this responsibility to provide the security. If there are no external danger, external threats, and then they're without it. It is also a way where we are spending a lot of money will be spent for the federal army. So we also have to consider that. With that, we need to consider that are we going to spend the state budget for that as well, or that instead of doing that, can we also do that to make the federal army need to be that is a very consolidated, united as well, and that and in addition, and that it is also important to have a modern army, modern professional army. It has to be modern professional army as well. Like if we look at the war, that you got the fighting as well. The decision is that the decision of what makes the winning or losing the war is more about weapons and ammunition. It is important that our federal army to be modern as well, and that it is also that is important to have that is a strength of the military needs to be consolidated. It has to be modern. It also have the necessary weapons as well, because to be able to protect the country, it is also important to have an army that has the ability also be able to use it as well, and that so that we need to ensure that as well, and in addition that by doing so, that what also is needed, what also is that is needed. We also need to have a reserve forces. If there is a occasion, then we also need that we'd have a law like a circumscription law that where we can also you also need to elevate it as well. When it's needed, then we will be able to establish it. If when the time calls for it, then people should be able to join as well. That and that that is that it is only one is necessary. One is necessary. We should be able to also to get the manpower that is needed as well. So that this way that you don't need to have like a permanent army at the same times, that without having a case, and that what we have to do during that time is that because when you have a major force, and the problem is that you are getting salary, you are spending a lot of budget, and then you have no fight to fight. So that's why you have to find ways to fight as well. And that's why what is also leading to causing war, and then fighting as well. And that's why that is also making people hate them as well. In the federal system, you cannot do this. In the federalism, those who join the army is to really to protect protect their country from the external, that they should need to be qualified soldiers as well, and that it is for the army or the Navy or the Air Force. They have to be like that. They have to be trained professionals who have the desire to be able to join as well. Only then we can also build the reputation of that military as well, and that so like also we say that the military need to have a strength as well. That you have a strong military, then it is with a strong power, the military also can also become supreme. The military supremacy is that should be under the civilian supremacy. In other words, we say that military dominance is under the civilian dominance. Why is that? because the civilian government come from the people's representation as through the free and fair elections that they are elected as well. So that in Myanmar, so if you want to go to junior federalism, that it is important to have free and fair elections, and free and fair election to have people that elected representatives who have the vote of the people, the will of the people. Those who are with the people can also will be able to make a decision to select those who will really serve their interests, the interests of the nation as well. That it is important that this will be the one those are the public leaders will make the important decision as well. That military is the federal army is an institution, it's an armed institution. There are other factors as well. There are military affairs, that social affairs as well. So that the civil leaders that come from the public vote, they have the capacity and they have the skills, and that through that they come from that as well. So that it is important that it's not just military. It's just the military leaders who make the decision about the military. It will be the civilian leader with the decision. Militaries are experts when it comes to military affairs. But they are not considered experts for the politics. They are not experts in the economic affairs. They are not experts in the political affairs as well. So these people, I think it is also important to have a professional that they should be able to become professional soldiers. Just focus on their professional capacity as well. They should. It is also important for them to remain as that as well. This way, they will never have to do that as well. And that it is also important that we need to make sure that this way how the country will be. What we are seeing now is that if you look at what is happening in Russia, like that if you look at Ukraine, for example, like you have a civilian leader who is also that is providing the leadership. You will see that they are making, the civilian leader is making the decision, and then they also followed, of course, get the recommendation advice from the civilian leaders, and that civilian supremacy is important. That it is important that military is always under the civilian supremacy, and that is important. That is a very important point as well, and that military, the federal army will be under the federal government, because they are to protect the external danger, to be able to from the external threat, the external danger. That's the duty of the federal government. So that they are under the federal government, so that in establishing the federal army, it is also important that all the ethnic communities represent proportionally according. That is also important as well. The military is an armed organization, an institution. That it is also important that it should be free from the ethnic bias as well as the religious that they should be able to that they should be able to serve to protect the country from the external threat. So in the establishment of the federal army, that all the ethnic communities should be able to participate to a proportion, and that proportion that we need to come up with, and that according to that it is different levels or will also be served as well. So what is important is that to form a federal army, that we need a federal constitution, that the federal constitution is very important for the federal army as well. In the federal constitution, then there will be the major decisions, and the will be given for the establishment of the federal army. These are the points we need to think about as well. Second question is about the CDMs, CDM soldiers. That there are those we have. There are soldiers. There are many soldiers, rank and file, who have joined there as well. They have joined the system because they want to change the system. In other other words, they are saying that they want the arm because they see that what is wrong. I said that's why they are trying to join it. So that's why the military has lost its morale because of it as well, and they think that it is important to protect the people, that they believe in the protecting the people, and they need to serve the people, and that they should, those who should be serving them, they are considering the military as a danger. So it is important that that we need to think that SAC and that I think it is also important that those who are thinking that it is important to change the system, that and without willingness to change the system, without voluntary, it won't happen. So it is important to we need to respect that. But to when we what they also need to do is that those before that that when we have a federal army, what kind of mindset we should have, that institution, that so it is also important to think about how we can also build the federal army as an institution as well, and that for the CDM, all the CDM and that soldiers rank and file, they are important because they are in a way that they are the foundation, or that are the grains for the to build the federal foundation. So they are the very important foundation for the federal army, and that they need that. For example, like now we have the PDF they are sacrificing their lives for the country, and that they don't get any salary, they don't get any benefits, and they are sacrificing their life for the nation. They are fighting for the ground, they are for the country, they are fighting simply for the country. And these people, I think it is also that when we establish the federal army, I think it is also important to think about the mindset as well. And another important point is the also the ethnic revolutionary organizations, that these armies are also we also have that these are that they are also important because that they can no longer take what is happening to them. So that's why they have so they are fighting in order to be able to against oppression that they are facing as well. So I think it is important that these ERO and the current CDM and the PDF and the EROs will be the key for the as well, that for that those who have joined the CDM movement and joined the people's side, and that is they are that I think they will be important to work with this as well. And then another point is the non-CDMers, like this have said before. What is important is that when we build a new nation, and that that we cannot it will take time as well, that during the transition period there are a lot of things we need to do. So what no justice, no peace. Without justice there won't be peace as well. To be able to have justice, that it is important to hold those who have caused injustice as well, and that it is also important also to provide the redress for the victims and the survivors of these as well. That when we think about that constitution and that justice, it is there not just the judicial justice, we also need to think about the social justice as well. In other words, that for the victims, it is also important to provide restitution or redress as well. For when it comes to non-CDMers, then it is we have to think about them separately as well. That I think what we call it the SSR, the social, we will also need to do social security reform as well. How do we reform the military, and in doing so, who will be to what extent there will be action will be taken against them, how to what extent they can also be rewrite. This was something to discuss as well. When it comes to the non-CDMs, that non-CDMs also those who are still in that that there's, I think that they are not, they don't merit the trust like those who are joining the CDM movement, because they don't make sacrifices, they don't take risks as well, and that's something, that's why they are not standing by the people, and that's very clear. We can clear conclusions that we can draw as well. We also have to do the DDR as well, like that decommissioning, as well as on the demobilization. We have to go on it as well, because we'll be building a new army, so we have to demobilize the existing army as well, and that, and also that those DMers from serving current service to how do we make them leave the military, also who cannot take action as well, how do we reintegrate them into the society. So these are all we need to think about as well. This will be part of the transitional justice as well, and that these are things that we will need to do a lot, and that is that we'll have to work to build a federal army. We also will have to, those who join the CDM, the commanders, as well as a rank and file, are the major force for the building of the and the PDF and the ERO will come there, sort of like the seat for the establishment of the federal army. I think it is important they will need to work together with understanding and respect to build a federal army. And for the non-CDMers, there will be separate consideration for the non-CDMers, that how do we demobilize them, how do we disarm them, demobilize them, how do we demobilize them, how do we reintegrate them, how do we take action for the crimes that they have committed as well. And that at the same time, that in addition to that, to be very frank here, I think it is also better that we cannot just kill, we cannot kill them all, we cannot. So we also need to find a way that in the new nation of Myanmar, then we also need to think about how do we integrate them, how do we bring them towards their society, is something we also need to think about. So very comprehensive answer. Thank you very much indeed. So I'm sure that that people will also learn a lot from your sharing as well. And Sia, and then you have mentioned in the new future federal army is that military will need to do. We need a federal army that it's a profession that that's what all the people. I think that's what all the people want as a military. That focus on its job as a state force as well. I think it's already over 1 hour and a half. So we like to go to that question and answer session. Before that we have a question here for the. So we have a question for you. So I would like to give give the question to you soon. We have a question in comment chat box. So in the comment, the question is that what about NUG, CRPH, and NUCC? What kind of policies does NUG, CRPH, and NUCC have for the interim period and beyond the revolution regarding judicial pillar? And that what are consideration for freedom, independence, and justice of the well, like when you say that revolution, we have 4 parts, right? We are now interim period. So we call it the interim period. Is that because on the one hand the SAC is still there, so that it is also important that we find a way to to be able to. It's also important to be able to win as well. Without we cannot control the SAC, that will not be good. They are spoilers. They are making the not happening. So that what we are focusing on is to end the military, to end the SAC, the military hunter, and also to establish also that our territory, and that is important. In such context, it's just important to we will not be able to do a lot of work, but mostly what they will have to do is that we have to do a lot of territorial control, as well as we also want to establish also the judicial work as well. We have to do the control as well. When it comes to is also about this making what is right or what is wrong. That will also be the action will be needed to take in as well. That the action can be taken in different ways, and that so that the code. So when it comes to when it comes to the crimes that come to the case that they come to you, they will have to make a decision. That is, it could be that when it can be imprisonment, or it could be a capital punishment. Then we need to also do, which will validate their cases. We need to validate it. We need to there's these are things, a lot of things we need to think about as well. On the other hand, we are also fighting. We are fighting the SAC, so that the most focus will be focusing on that, and that only when the military is no longer there, we'll be able to work on this. So we need stability to do that. So during the interim period, that you will not see much of a judicial system, because we not be able to, because we need stability. So that's why we look at the revolution. We have a what we have is called the quasi judicial making. So it's like a judicial style kind of a decision. Judicial is that is established from the current system. Extrajudicial means that that is although we cannot do that, so there are also, we cannot do a trial to be able to take action, to be very open here. Right now we have like the land, for example, like getting rid of the military informant is an extrajudicial it's kind of extrajudicial decision as well, because it is on the one hand that we have to we cannot just just sit and look at what is happening to that as well, and that if we just look at them like that, they will not go away, because we also risk being killed as well. That so we need to in such a case that when we do our work, it is also important to give priority to the quasi judicial but as well, and that we need to try to negotiate and to find resolve as well, such as for the justice just for the interim period. And it's that if we when we want that the military hunter, that we will go into transitional period. The transitional period is that is what we call so it is also it's a phase of a transitional period, and from there, and that so we called it this as well, that what we call is that there is no more military hunter, as yes, that we don't know. Who we have is that we have the fighters, we have those partners who are fighting, and and also that we have the EROs as well, that it is also important that how do we how do we also need to it's also the time where we have to start to also to go there as well, that then we'll be able to also do that as well, that we all do this, but justice is that it means that is to be able to do that as well. So the most important is to be able to hold the perpetrators accountable. If you commit a small crime, they will have a due punishment, and that if you commit a major grievous crime, that you become the sentence will be reflect on the crime that you committed. So you cannot. So to have a fair justice system, then appropriate punishment to be given as well, and it is the duty of the judge to make to make the judgment, to make the decision as well. During the transitional period, then we'll be able to do more clearly as well. And therefore, as that's one thing we are also working on right now currently, and like I've explained before, that we have 15 townships to establish as well, and that another is that during this time also that we are also working on the building, developing the federal government, the federal constitution. After that, then we'll also have to establish that that we'll also have we also have a caretaker government for only 6 months to 1 year. So we have a small minimum government, and then we will also do the election. After the election, and then we have to be able to to further power. We call it the caretaker government. We need a caretaker government to do that, because right now we have a lot of fighters. That these fighters they are that that once they are that they would become they would join the election. When they do that, there is also winning or losing. And so we cannot do that. Like the decision of the people is the most important. So as a caretaker, once we form the caretaker government, it will be formed to convene the government. So it doesn't matter whoever won it as well. Then those who that that they will be that those who elected people that people will be people elect should be power should be fair share transferred to those who have been people have elected. So then we have a next step. The next step will be is that during the transition, that we also have to continue to working on the transitional government as well, and then we'll have the federal military as well, and that in this part. For us to right now in the interim period, it will be very difficult to be able to do. We don't have we need to have we need to have we need that and we need to have a police force and the prosecution to be able to, and then the order that once the judicial system passes sentence, that is that we need to also have detention centers as well as on the prison to enforce the sentences as well. Without such such parameters, we'll not be able to use the judiciary system to the full, but we cannot wait for them as well. If we wait for them, there will be more and more cases, because without the justice, there will be more cases, more criminalities, and that it is also important that we need to have it is also important that we have to do that. Based on that, that's why we have established. So the votes as well. So there are challenges. There are many challenges, but to do that, we have to do this with as well. That because if not, there will be more crimes. There will be more crime without a justice system. So for the access to be able to achieve justice, we have to establish codes, and we have to that is part of the work that we have to do. Thank you, Sia, for detailed explanation. So that. I would like to invite another person who have to do. So Lenovo. So if you're here in the Lenovo account, please. Okay, so what would you like to, how do you want to contribute as well? So I've been listening and listening to discussion. I really respect the speakers, and that I will also want to say that, and I know that you are all, that I really respect you. That's what I would like to say the first, but I do, and I also like to share a little what I'm thinking as well. When we say international, it's good to hear as well, that is also, we've been hearing about the international justice systems for the past, 30 years. I think it is more and more like I think it is important to keep it as a way to, as well, because international mechanism it's been 30 years, but that in reality, we are not seeing much of, international mechanism as well. So I think it is important to keep it, but I think so what they are saying, is short, but I think it's so important to separate as well, because in Myanmar, that is in our country, that since the 11th century until now, that we have never seen that much of also respect for as well. That is also historical, and that that is like either you call it as well. These for this happening, and it is important to respect that these those who are committing such crimes, and they are from the people, they are from Myanmar, and they are those who also say that I think we have to be brave enough to say that they are also the SAC, and that they are also part of this. And we also need to ensure that there are no guarantees if we can remove them, that they will not stop there. Another thing I would also like to share is that either you call it the military hunter or the military, and that that if you don't because they have this mindset and this character, that if you look at it from there, that they're from the feudal period, or that the fact that they were able to they have only when they have this kind of character, and that they were able to hold power, so that seems to be, they seem to also be able to stand strong as well. I think that the fact that we are doing the revolution is more than that. We are trying to, this revolution is more than for the past 20 years. So we are trying to change a system that has that has never has never existed before. So that's what we are trying to do. So I'm sure that you know more about it. Also, they will be as well. That is and also in that it is also that important to be able to join it as well, and that have new for it is also important, like 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, or if every country that we need to have everyone has to do the military service as a obligatory, like 1 year or 2 years. I think that could also work as well, and that the license that your gun license should be given, and that by giving the guy license, and that but there will also be more small petty crimes, but then there won't be that we won't have like a trade. It will also prevent from major like cases like state treason as well. We also like to get your opinion on that as well, and that we also like to hear from you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And that and also for the Sia that so that on the what on the Colonovo's discussion, do you want to say anything? I would just to share the time is also short, so I would just keep it short to the point. Well, that times are changing now. So, no, we are now in the, we can say that before, as you all know, Myanmar was an isolated society. We had very limited exposure to the outside world, and that if you look at Myanmar for the past year, that we're not even producing airplanes, we're not producing ships, we're not producing cars. We have to buy. We're buying it from the other community. That we just stay, and that we stay in our own little community. And we think that we are also good, and so we seem to be, so if you look at the other countries, and that we are late in development as well. Now it's the information technology. So if you look at it, if you look at the young generation, the children, if you look at them, the situation, they are now, the children have access to the world, they are exposed to the world as well. If you look at it from the, social or education or communication, that is much better than before. What we are seeing also is that with this such exposure, that we also are that our hopes and expectations are also very different as well. They have different, and that's something we cannot deny. And that's why in the short while that we have a lot of PDF, and because of these the information technology, that because they know what is happening, and that when there is if there is if they see that people those who that they were able to agree, and they would fight together, and that's why we are also seeing this as well. If you look at this, then it is that systems have changed as well, and that is also a good thing for us as well. So we know who is committed the crime, and we know who is making sacrifices for the country. We know immediately as well, and that it is also important that that if you are going to commit the crimes or commit the wrong, then they have to think about it. The military try to made a coup because they will seize the power. They believe that they can do it, and they believe that they will be able to do it before. But now the military is on the brink of collapse, and that's because this is because of the technology, that the change is happening, and that also give us a chance as well, and that for the change to happen. So I think also is a very important, it's a very good sign that the changes happening on the road have a good impact on it as well. Sorry, what is the second question? Can you remind me of the second question once again? Second question is that Sia Mindura shared that as well, and that that Myanmar do not have that respect of the rule of law. Well, that's I think it's also quite is related to what you were saying earlier as well, is because from the problem is, like people say before, that if you look at 2008 constitution, that when it comes to military, the decision of the commander-in-chief is final, and that this way, that's how they have set it up. So that it is that in the 2008 constitution that is provided in there as well, we have already abolished that as well. So that these kind of thinking, and they sort of like they become deep-rooted as well, and that from the nationalism, and then the military supremacy, and then we have also have the like military is like your mother. It's like you have like this elite military elite as a level, and then that destroy also the trust with the people as well. So like as I said before, that it is important to have a civilian supremacy. We need to build civilian supremacy as well. In other words, we will have to say that we need to develop democracy as a policy, and that and we also need to have their federalism as well. That's what we are starting to work on. That's what we are discussing as well. And that so it is if we have a democracy and federalism, then we'll be able to have that way of thinking, that that only then we will be able to make the changes as well, and that for the building of the federal nation and for the ethnic equality is something that we all need to work on. Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Maybe the Siama Nyein, do you want to add anything as well? So in the question, and we talk about this, so that it seems that the years that the system that after 30 years that things have not changed, and they still happen today. I think it's part of the. I think the strength is also winning, means that that's a militarism or the realism as well. Right now we are seeing a lot of changes as well. Like we are seeing the changes we have never seen before. In this revolution, like if you look at on the ground, a lot of them are fighting. They're students, they are youth who are fighting hard on the ground as well. And these are the youth that if you listen to the voice of the youth, they are fighting against. They are fighting against the fascists. They are fighting against this kind of militarism as well. So they are leading. That they are also fighting for the mindset change as well. And what is different from before in the previous work is that often that among the Myanmar Burma community is quite different from about the best of this before. The civil war in Myanmar, often they will also blame is that the ethnic revolution organization are always because it has rebels or the insurgents. That's how people had tend to follow that opinion, that is a popular opinion as well. Like I say, they are asking for the equal rights. They are asking for equality. They are asking for that as well. And that now that is something we are going to do. So we are also changing that. Those opinions also have changed as well. But in the past, the military, that these are the central part of Myanmar are the main sources of the human resource for the military. But they are now, these are the central part of Myanmar, they are fighting strongly against the military, so that they will not be able to recruit new soldiers. That is hurting them. That is hurting them a lot. So that it is the time we are now fighting the mindset. The military also is not getting recruitment as well, and that's something that we can do. So this time, this revolution, we cannot say that we will not say that this revolution. I think we cannot be. We'll have to say that this time it will be the time will be changing as well. Especially that I think it is also that youth also that is if we can focus on that and that also be more successful. Another point I would like to say, the last point I would like to say in a relation regarding this is that so now we talk about the federalism, and it's also is very much related as before. Federalism, like about the secession, is that federalism is something to be scared of. And right now, everybody is talking about federalism. Even in the that when you are to demonstrate, when they are running strike, they are saying we want federalism. That is happening in these that even in a small village in the central part of Myanmar, and that's a very important change that we are seeing here. That when we say federalism, and think that it is also what I would like to make the point about with the justice and transgender justice is that so there are three pillars, so executive and the separation of powers between the executive, judiciary, and legislative. And that's something we need to implement that at the same time as well. Okay, we'll make the law, we'll govern, and we will, that we cannot do that. All the pillars cannot be controlled by the one institution. It's something, the separation of powers need to be separated. That will also contribute to the better federalism and strengthen the judiciary system as well. Either that what kind of system there is as well, like the executive, or that it is also important that the pillars or executive pillars, judicial, legislative, need to be separated as well. And these are the important features as well. If you look at KNU, that KNU has been they have a system. They have a democratic election system. They have already there. They have their own justice system. They have their own education system. Their health system. They even are implementing that is it is important that if you really want to develop the federalism, it is important to recognize that the different systems they have. Those leaders will need to recognize that, accept that they have their own judicial systems, and that is as such. That's part of being part of the federalism as well. Thank you for thank you for the brother also for joining this session as well. That I would like to invite another person.
Okay,
yes, we can hear you, so that so you would like to discuss, or would like to ask what you want to talk, Rafak. So yes, thank you for this opportunity. I'm a CDM from the CDM from Navy, and that of 2021, I've joined the CDM movement. So I would also like to good evening to all the speakers. First of all, I would like to ask a question that right now that so that that after the coup the crimes that the SAC soldiers have committed after the coup, Thein has discussed about it as well, that interim period, transition period, there should be elected government these various phases that so action will be taken against the SAC soldier as well. So we know about the ULB action. I know clearly about how they will be, the legal action will be there, but I don't know about how the legal clear action will be taken. But they have committed such crimes, and that though there are also there's sometimes there is evidence, sometimes there isn't evidence about they committed. In that case, if you want to take action, then what kind of law? How do we take action at them? Are we going to use the 1959 defense? Will it be based on the 1959 Defense Services Act, or will it be like will it by the international law or the universal jurisdiction? What laws will be used to take action against the SAC soldier? That's what I would like to know. Next, second part, I would like to ask is that if you have a clear, about it as well, that and also that you also need to raise awareness. I think shouldn't there be a warning and precaution to them that they can be take action? They can. So this is my first question, as well as the comment as well. Second question is that right now the PDF and that future for the future federal army so we have an armed revolution. So I think there should be a law. It is also necessary for the PDF on the armed revolutionary fighter as well. So I think it is for the NUG has a code of conduct and ROE. Only the code of conduct and ROE. So what kind of law will there be for the PDF? So that what kind of law they need to follow? Is there a violation also that what kind of how it's not very clear what kind of law will there be there, as well as would like to know what laws need ended for them, especially like in Yemen, with the case of Budamani, there were also the cases happened, and that also there were also some statements, but we haven't seen that we are not seeing an effective way of dealing with that. So I have these two questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the questions. Maybe Simultaneous can answer. Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to respond to the question. Firstly, that whenever a crime has been committed, and that there are two parts to the law. One is that the person needs to have the intent, and the action needs to meet the criteria of the such crime. So these are the two criteria as well. So we call it the criminal mind and criminal act, criminal intent and criminal act. These two means that that they can be taken action as well. So if you, I think we can look at the existing laws, and that if you look at the existing laws, like we can see that if you look at it from the political perspective, then this unsuccessful coup that has been committed by the military, Myanmar and the military are committing that, and that's why they are committing this the high treason. So that according to the section 122, that's the treason, so that they committed that treason, then they will be sentenced to capital punishment. So it doesn't matter who committed the crimes, and it either the full-fledged that SAC, or you are a military, or you are a civilian who are joining this. Well, if you committed such crimes of the state treason, then if they are found guilty, then they will be punished by capital punishment. That's by the penal code. In the same way that we also have to do the Defense Service Act, as well as on the Act as well, and that there are rules of military to follow, and that and what are they violating it? If they violated the rules and regulations of the Defense Service Act, then they will also be taken action as well. International Criminal Code is already there, and International Criminal Code has there are 4 major crimes that has a universal jurisdiction. It doesn't matter which individual is, SAC can hold them as well. Cite that the crimes of humanity, and that the crimes that have been grievous crimes, war crimes, and then that aggression, or that invading another country, invading another territory. So that right now, like Soviet from the Soviet invading Ukraine, that is covered by the act of aggression as well. If you look at it from these, that crimes, these universal jurisdiction crimes, what the ICC had the mandate. We can also look at what the ICC had the mandate also to be able to hold the individuals accountable, either military or civilian, that are part of the SAC. So based on the crimes, which crime they committed 1 crime or 2, or the 4 crimes, based on that, the sentences will differ. The sentence will differ according to the crimes they committed, because the crimes were the punishment, roughly the highest punishment will be the capital punishment. That's the that is the death sentence. These are what is provided in the law in terms of legal action that we can take. Yes, when it comes to the PDF, you're right. Like I have said before, right now we are in the interim period. Interim period is that we are focusing on using the foul, using force to attack the adversary, because if we don't do that, they will get rid of us. We are trying to remove that. They are trying to remove us during the time that it is what we should be focused on. The priority, it will be very difficult to decide on the priority, because what is what is important is what we are seeing, that there are people their military is killing people blindly, that people have to bear weapons to protect themselves. So we need to look at it from the legal perspective. The legal perspective, people don't even have to have an air gun. If you have an air gun, that you have a weapons law, you can be charged weapons laws. But that if you do that, and then PDF, if you go according to the PDF, now the PDF will be able to as well. But they are the PDF very weapons, because they have very weapons to defend themselves. They have the right to defend themselves. So that that we call it the community value. That the community values, it's also linked with the community values. Laws had to be enacted according to the community value as well. Sometimes there are also other laws enacted for other reasons. There are exceptions, but it depends on the community value. That we call it the community value. That's the community value. That's what meets the measure for the law as well. What is the community value right now? What are they that we want to stop the military? We want to fight against the military. There are no law to fight back against the military hunter. We don't have that, so we need to have that law first. We need to make that happen. But until then we cannot. So political decision is very important. The political leaders, NUG, NUCC, and CRPH all of the political leaders are important. They have the responsibility, and they are willing. As you are right, yes, they need to end such laws. But right now is that during the interim period, we're gonna do it. But we can try. We can try because we cannot do it alone. We cannot work on in an institution. It's something we all need to work together. Because if you see the challenge, if you see the difficulty, then you know already the issue. Like if you know the issue, if you know the disease, then you need to find the medicine. That if you think that this is an issue, then we need to find a way to deal with it. And that we are then now in the what is important. We identify the issue, then we have to find the solution. Yes, PDF law need to be enacted. It had to be created very soon. If you want to search for Chief Justice, then legal guidance, legal check and balance is very important as well. And that's the only way to do that. We need to. This is the objective that we are moving forward to. Thank you. That and it's nearly 2 hours. It's over 2 hours that we have in the talk show. So we like to wrap up our talk show now, and then also we have received also a lot of questions. I think that some of the questions we have received have already been covered by them as well. But however, time is limited, so that we have been running the show for a long time, so we'll not be able to do it as well. But we also like to request you to watch the show, because we'll also be posted on it as well. You can also see some of the points is covered as well. We also would like to talk about that the topic we have is that how can we get legal action against the soldiers of the SAC as well. And among the speakers we have Thein, Minister for Justice of NUG. We have Nyein, a revolutionary youth, and my name is Nyein. I'm moderating this session as well. And we also like to wrap up the talk. I would like to ask for the concluding message from Nyein and Thein. Please go ahead. So today's topic is about the legal and the justice, about the law and justice. So building justice is important. That there are the legal channels. It takes time. It takes time to establish legal channels, especially to achieve justice. As especially for transitional justice implementation, it can be very difficult. It's also time consuming. But in our quest for justice needs to be served at any time, either in Africa, or if you look at the Balkan, or if you're in Southeast Asia, for whatever that has happened, that they may be at the top. They think that will never fall, the dictators often tend to think that we are untouchable, but now they are, either especially in the ICC, and that there are a lot of people who have been serving life sentences in the ICC as well, and that and also there are those who are also they're suffering as well. If you look at the ICC case, you will see many of them as well, and it takes time, but this is how we can hold that we can bring them, if we can bring them in front of justice as well. So this, I would just like to say that it might take time, so please keep yourself focused, and then we will achieve justice. Thank you. Okay, please. So I would like to thank the organizers, People's School team for organizing this talk show, and also like to our speakers as well as the participants for asking important question as well, because we are trying to change the system. We are trying to change the Senior era, so that when we make the change happen, there are a lot of challenges, there are difficulties. We are trying to change something that has been ingrained for many years. We are trying to change something that is deeply rooted. So that for the past 70 years, that the system that has been that we are trying to change has stop the civil war that has been for that time. The root cause of the civil war is a military dictatorship, and that as it has been discussed before, that instead of speaking at the table, because everything is resolved with the weapons, it doesn't matter if whoever it is. There is a people who suffer, because we are all born on this country. We are born on this land, and we are the fighting. We have to fight each other for the rights that they have to. I think this is the land that Myanmar is built on. That it is important that all the ethnic communities in Myanmar need to enjoy equal rights, not only just the democratic rights. We need to have equal rights. Ethnic equality is important. To be able to get equal rights, I think it is also important to have mutual respect and trust, and that we cannot build that equality through the bullying or threat or making a fear as well, or oppression. So this is something we are all fighting to change in this revolution. This revolution is really giving us a new way to deal with it. We are finding a way to deal with the oppressive military dictatorship. This is the last time. This is the ultimate battle for us, for the country. So that for the future generation will not suffer like we have suffered, that the new generation will not have to cry that like we did. So this will be the last time people have to suffer under the military regime. And that's something that that's something we are all fighting for. And that's why all of us are contributing to this movement as well. But there are many challenges. There are many, yes, for those who are fighting, we are fighting an institution that has been deeply rooted for the past 70 years. We are fighting against that. They have consolidated for the past 70 years, and we are fighting against it. So it's not easy. It is difficult. There are many challenges we are with it, but we in the end, the righteousness shall win. Righteousness shall prevail. Like say, the morality will win over that immorality. So it is important. All of us to fight. We are fighting for the truth, for the righteousness. If you all fight together, if you all join in this revolution, then we can achieve we can achieve a peaceful nation of Myanmar, that we can be proud of being Myanmar citizens in the world, in the world as well. So this revolution, like I said before, this revolution is in Myanmar is the ultimate battle, and that will also make the decision for the future of Myanmar, because we will need for the future generation of Myanmar, for the people of Myanmar. We don't want them to suffer like we did, and that to be able to meet the international standards, and that's we are fighting for. It is important that all of us will need to fight together and through mutual understanding and respect. So very soon we will be getting close to the ultimate victory as well. And that's what we say. The challenges are there. It is not just that we are facing challenges, that the military also is facing a lot of challenges and difficulty as well. So that it is we cannot look at just our challenges. We can also look at the other side as well, that what the military is facing at the challenges as well, that their challenges are much bigger than us. The military is almost to the sense of the collapsing, that how do we replace it? How do we how do we change the new nation? How do we change the new era? How do we change the system? And this is something that we can also do. And through this, we can also we can build understanding through the talk show. We can be able to understanding, and only then we'll be able to do that as well. That we were able to. So thank you for this opportunity, and as well as and we'd also like to thank the organizer for thank you very much for participation. Thank you very much indeed, and have a good day.